Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Footy Thoughts. I am Joey. This is,
Casey.
yes, and we will be previewing Game Week 25, talking about the reduced slate of games due to the Carabao Cup final coming up. The board was a little tough to go through. It was interesting having to grind and find a little corners of value here and there, but we always go over our Everton. Casey supports Everton and I Tottenham. And this week, I think it's going to be a dark week for both of us in terms of results. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Speak for yourself. No, I have no idea what's going to happen. Let's kind of roll on into it.
Yeah, so to start, I mean, you guys have a double game week this week. You guys play at home to Aston Villa, and then on Wednesday, I believe, play away to Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very hello, Jasper. This is a very tough game to predict here because Villa is technically in bad form. I mean, they've been conceding goals left and right. I think it was 4 to Arsenal recently. They conceded 3 to City and another 4 to Leicester.
Leicester, not
Leicester.
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 Leicester. With an
Leicester.
all-time own goal from Emi Martinez too.
Yes, that there were some funny goals over the weekend. This is tough because if Everton were still conceding goals on the regular basis, then I would like a sneaky over in this game. But it's tough. I mean, Everton has not been conceding goals recently. It looks like we've got a solidified midfield, a solidified center back pairing. Mikalenko has been maybe a par above average. Seamus Coleman had a great game last game. However, I do think he's still on kind of a downslope. Jordan Pickford is signing or just signed a brand new extension, which is huge. Very interesting too. I don't know why he would do that, to be honest. And Villa's been looking good. Ollie Watkins, I mean, something about Unai Emery's system has brought Ollie Watkins to life. Like I said, when Emery was appointed, Buendia, it was going to be a focal point in this team, and he has been. He's been really solid, not necessarily for the fantasy type of returns
exactly.
that
The
people would
goals and
want.
assists.
Yeah, but he's one of those players, hockey assists is what we talk about. Second chances created, that type of deal. He's really good in that arena. So Philip Coutinho, this is interesting. I thought he was very interesting during Gerrard's term with Villa as a really interesting fantasy asset. Now it didn't turn out to be that way. There's something going on with Coutinho during that spell, but he came on last game and scored a really nice goal. He looked really good too, creating chances, taking shots. So this game, this is from a betting perspective, I will not be betting on this game. I mean, this could end 0-0. This could end 5-2. I don't know. And I have no idea who's going to win this. This is going to be a scrappy, who scores first is most likely to win type of game. So whoever grabs that first goal, which may never even come, totally could end 0-0. It's just one of those games that's so hard to predict. Yeah, I'll be tuning in. We'll see.
All right. And why don't you go ahead and talk about the Arsenal game too while we're at it?
Okay. All right. So
no, the Everton Arsenal game.
Oh, okay. I am not confident about that game. I'll
Is it
tell
a
you that
revenge game
much.
for them?
It will certainly feel like a revenge game for them. I do think we didn't get lucky per se. We created a lot of chances. We looked really good. Our midfield looked very good against theirs, but I don't see the same type of result happening for the second time around. We'll try to lock it down, but we cannot score goals. We can't score goals. We're relying on our defense to score goals from set pieces, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just we don't have a goal scorer at all. So really our game plan is going to be, let's see if we can shut them down and not let them score any goals, which I don't see that happening at all. So I'm very bleak on this game from an Everton perspective. I think Arsenal will run us over. They'll have that chip on their shoulder as well for a revenge game. Um, I don't see this going in Everton's favor. I see Arsenal scoring at least 2 goals on us, and I don't see us scoring any goals. So,
One of these days you'll have a optimistic preview of Everton game
once we get a
week.
striker, once we get a fucking goal scorer, I'll be like, oh, okay, maybe I can have some optimism.
This is
Rest in
a,
peace,
a
Dominic.
classic corners game for you as well.
This could be a corners game. I don't know how many. I don't even think Everton could probably get any corners though. That's how bleak our attack
Fair.
is when we'd be away from home to Arsenal. To be honest, but
So if
we'll see.
Thursday morning you wake up and Everton's gotten 3 points from those 2 games, would you be happy?
Yes, I was
A
very
win and a
happy.
loss.
Mm-hmm. I was very absolutely. Like I mean, I've been saying this whole time. I'm a little bit nervous about this now, but I've been saying all along that Arsenal's the real deal, and they're once they kind of shot up in the table, it was pretty clear to me. I was like, they're going to run away with this. They're not going to let go. They're going to win the title. So I'd been saying that a couple times, but recent events is making me doubt myself. But
what about you get 1 point, but it's a draw from the Arsenal game?
You mean this game?
Yeah, so you get
1 point from this
one.
game?
You
Hell
get,
yeah!
no. 1 point from the Villa and Arsenal game total. So you lost against Villa, but you drew Arsenal.
Yeah, I would take that, or a draw against Villa and a loss to Arsenal.
Okay, so you take 1 point. That's the real. You take 1 point total, no matter
I
what.
would take 1 point from both of our matches in this game week. Yeah.
But not just one total.
Um,
That's what I'm asking. You lost against Villa, but you drew Arsenal. Would you take that?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
I would. In the current state of Everton, I would. I would.
All right, let's move on to the Tottenham Chelsea game. Another well, to be honest, back-to-back London derbies, whatever that is. For Tottenham, they just beat West Ham 2-0 in a not surprising because West Ham did have their chances.
Yeah.
Don't say that. No, don't say that. It's a rivalry. They should always score, but they didn't. And there wasn't too many clear-cut chances, which Tottenham have been giving up recently. We had our classic, Antonio Conte wing back to wing back, Ben Davies assisting Emerson goal, and then we're deeming him now super sub Son, who came on and like you called a Kane to Son duo assist combination that ultimately saw us winning 2-0. But Stellini and Ryan Mason, since Conte still won't be back, will be leading the charge. And he came out this week saying that Son needs to be managed because he's been fighting a little bit of an injury or a knock or something like that, which would make sense as to why he hasn't been performing well on top of his confidence. But I wouldn't mind him being subbed on again this game is what I'm getting to. I wouldn't mind seeing another Richarlison start. And this Kane, we need someone that can bully and fight for space, hold up the ball, because Kane's going to be dropping deep because he's going to get frustrated within the first 10 minutes of the game. He's going to drop deep, leave the center backs, and then they're fast enough to keep up with Richarlison, but we need somebody who will not be afraid to go shoulder to shoulder with them. So I actually hope Richarlison starts along with Kulu. Our midfield kind of rounds itself because Bentancur and Bissouma are out for the season. So we'll see either Skip or Sar with PEH. I can't think of anything else injury-wise, but we haven't scored.
Looking a little bleak for Tottenham midfield.
We haven't scored against Chelsea at the new stadium yet. So we have that record against City where they haven't scored in our new stadium yet, but we have not scored against Chelsea at our home stadium since it's been open. So that may scream under, that may scream Chelsea money line, but just like every game, I have optimism going into it because as of right now, Chelsea can't score. They get all the XG in the world, but they just can't finish. And then, to be fair, the game against Southampton, they had a free kick from one of the best free kick takers in the world and I believe it was just outside of the box. So I don't know how creative or how much Southampton really tested Chelsea's defense. but they had a lot of guys sit out that game too, like Reece James, Cucurella, Thiago Silva. I believe, I think Zakaria and Kovacic are back in contention too. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a different Chelsea lineup. I think their front four is going to be the same of Modric, Felix, Havertz, and then I don't think Sterling's back yet, but from what I saw, I don't think he's injured. So he may either be on the bench, but Madueke, or however you say his name, that winger from Holland they got.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this game will be done early in the day. It'll be a 7:30 kickoff. And what I'm hoping is, or what I'm thinking it is going to be a draw. Because we drew 2-2 to Chelsea last time. I fully expect Chelsea to score. I fully expect it to be some BS goal or some, not really a Forster mistake, but an Eric Dyer mistake. So
I echo everything you just said. I'm gonna put a little bit of input from a betting perspective on games like this. Games like this, I don't know if anyone here listening are big soccer prop bettors, but these games are perfect for player props. And the reason I say that specifically is for defender shot props. Now, this is something a buddy of mine have been kind of studying and bet on a little bit. For example, Manchester City versus Leipzig in the Champions League earlier this week. That type of very high intensity game with two very quality teams, especially if they are rivals, and there's going to be a lot of fouls, set pieces, corners, all of the above. These games are great for defender shot props as they have a ton of value. For example, my buddy and I, we bet on Ruben Diaz shot props on against Leipzig earlier in the week, and we won big on it. This is a classic example of a game where the game plan is not necessarily, I mean, you will see the forwards score goals in games like this. Of course, they're huge games, but there's going to be so many set pieces that I grew up playing defender in soccer my entire life, and it's when you're in a really intense game, when there's a lot of set pieces and a lot of opportunities for you to do something as a defender that you're not usually able to do, score a goal or get a shot on goal or something like that. You take that to heart. That is serious to you. So in games like these, whenever there is a set piece kind of near or around the final third, for both teams, you will see the center backs getting forward and they will be keen to get a shot on goal.
You'll like this. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm finished pretty much.
Koulibaly scored in this last game, and Reece James.
Yeah.
The game before that, Thiago Silva scored. The game before that, Rudiger scored. The game before that,
I'm telling you,
the game before that, Silva and Rudiger scored. So
I'm telling you, it is games like these, especially rivalry matches where there's lots of yellow cards, fouls, set pieces, opportunities for defenders to score. There is so much value in defender shot props. If you have that available to you on your betting platform, highly recommend kind of keeping an eye on games like this specifically, and knowing that in big games, defenders want to score the goals. Yeah. So keep that in mind. That's all I have to say about this game.
Maybe Christian Ramirez's first goal, even though I've never seen him win a header. And that's not the dog him, but I don't. We supposedly have a new set piece coach too. I mean, I know we have a new set piece coach, but supposedly our set piece stats are off the charts compared to last year. So who knows? We might snag one.
That's good.
We'll move on to our final game. Leicester, Arsenal. Arsenal also one of the other teams doubling this game week. Madison is currently the games are tomorrow, currently listed as doubtful for this game. He's got an ongoing knee injury. Even the FootMob item has him out.
Yeah.
I captain Saka, so I'm looking forward. I've got Saka and Odegaard as well as Zinchenko. I'm tripled up on Arsenal this week. Pretty much says it all.
Solid captain just to put out who our captains are on FPL.
It's going to be, I think, a bloodbath, because once United caught that first goal, kind of got their groove in the game. I think Arsenal can, one, weather Leicester's storm if they pick anything up, but also two, I don't, and Leicester can score as many goals as they want. I think Arsenal it won't phase them in any way in their attack, and they'll attack more and more and more the more Leicester gives them space to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see there being a penalty in this game. These two right here, one Feist.
So don't hate on Sudar. Sudar's good so
No,
far.
he's very good. But what makes a center back very good is fouling the shit out of players. And this guy is scary.
Yeah.
This guy is really scary, just as a human. These players are so technical in and around this area of the box. I mean, these two center backs are gonna struggle, man, especially Feist. I mean, we've seen his OGs in recent game weeks. I don't think he's a bad defender by any means. I think he's a good defender. However, playing in the Premier League at the highest level of soccer, when your team is conceding goals left and right, and you're getting chances against right around this area with Saka and Oda. I mean, they're just gonna have a field day in this area. Feist is going to have a lot to do, and I can see there being a handball in the box. I can see there being a scrappy accidental tackle by Suter. I can see there definitely being a penalty to this game.
Which is
So
great
I
because
don't
Saka's the
know.
pen taker.
Yeah, unless
That's-
Jorginho
no, because
inserts his
he hasn't been
badass.
starting. He's been subbed on.
No, Saka's the pen taker, and he scored his last pen. He should be locked to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see there being Arsenal goals because they're just going to have a field day in this area of the box, these two corners right here of the box.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I mean, my team total or my lock would have been their team total, but the odds they were giving us they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Okay, that is our preview on some of the key games, especially the Everton Tottenham games this week, as well as a pretty big matchup. Not that Leicester are high up on the table, but this should be a good test for Arsenal to go on the road and continue or maintain their lead on first place. But we will move on to our game week 25 locks of the week. So game week or our locks that we've been giving out so far since we've really started keeping track of them are 5-1. We went 2-0 last week. I forget what you hit, but I had the under in Brighton full. Oh yeah, you had Liverpool money line, and I had Brighton Fulham under 2.5. So we're pretty stoked to have some pretty good, not luck, but betting's not always easy. Not everyone goes 5-1. So let's try and keep this going. Try and go 7-1. I will start. My lock is Liverpool team total over 1.5. I capped Brentford team total earlier or I guess 2 weeks ago. Reasoning for this one, historically since 2015, and this may not mean much because different players, different fixtures, different forms, but since 2015, they have at least scored 2 goals or more away to Crystal Palace. They scored 2 against Real Madrid. They scored 2 against Everton, and they scored 2 against Newcastle, and it could have been 3 in the first half.
Could have been
so
3 or 4.
I'm going to lock in Liverpool team total over 1.5. That's my lock.
I like it. All right. My lock of the week is going to be the game right above. So we're going to have a fun afternoon here on Saturday. Manchester City, Bournemouth, total corners, guys. Corners. Yes, we do bet on corners over here. It's very fun to bet on. Reasoning for this, Manchester City is one of the best team at getting corners because you need a team that is very good at keeping possession in the wide areas. That's how you get corners. Grealish is very good at that. Mahrez is very good at that. Foden is very good at that. So now the reason I'm choosing this game specifically is because I think Bournemouth can get more corners than people realize. I've been saying this for a while. Love their January signings that they made. Not saying they're staying up in the league. I still think they'll probably go down. But on the attack, Bournemouth, since they made these January signings, had looked pretty damn good. So I'm gonna say, and Bournemouth love these kind of games. They love when they're pinned down, they're only on the counter. That's going to be their only opportunities. That's what Bournemouth is made of. That's their game style. So they're at home as well. We know we're going to see at least a couple Bournemouth attacks. 10 corners in Bournemouth City, -120 is my lock of the week.
All right. So like I said, we're trying to go 7-1. Not for the year, but it's been for the past few weeks, but mainly hoping to go 2-0 tomorrow. And we purposely try and get these on Saturday or at least the same day, so we can, if you haven't parlayed or if you need a big bet to go into Saturday evening to help cash or fill the bankroll, whatever it may be. So that will be it for this episode. We do have some things in the works plan wise, again, for our tens of 20s of viewers. Just to try and create more content. Look out for them. MLS, as you can see, Casey's wearing the Austin FC jersey. It kicks off tomorrow. First games of the week. I think the first game is Nashville,
New York City.
New York City. Sorry about that. I almost had it.
Mm-hmm.
Casey's a little bit more of the MLS guy, but I'll be trying to get some goalkeeper content as I played goalie growing up. We'll try and do a little save of the week segment. So
nice.
Look out for that. With that being said, I don't know what else. I guess you have Saka, or you have Salah, and I have Saka.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can do some FPL. Maybe like a little screenshots of our FPL. I don't know. We'll see what.
We'll start developing more fantasy stuff. Yeah. I think. Yeah. We've got the betting stuff kind of locked down here. We'll get some more fantasy stats and opinions out there for you guys.
And we're gonna master how to say Leicester too.
I'm gonna keep saying Leicester just to piss y'all off.
Hey, it's Yank here, Leicester, mate.
Yank here.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Catch us next week.
All right.